Hello, orchid addicts of all various colors and shapes. It is I, Leonard, and welcome back to my channel. So, I've returned from my vacation of dealing with some minor nuisances of life, cough cough, and today I am willing to show you my glorious, fantastic orchids in bloom just for the holidays. You can expect some Cymbidium, some Oncidium, and some Phalaenopsis action today. So ain't that just exciting? So, how you doing? How you spending time? What's up with you? Oh, oh, that's cool. Are you spending time with family? That's awesome. Unless they're absolutely bloody irritating. Well, yeah, so, oh, me? How am I doing? Well, I'm actually depressed, but ain't nobody got time for that, you know? Ain't nobody got time to sit on their asses, pity, and loathe themselves. I gotta get up and I gotta get bullocks done, you know? So get on with it. Get on with it. Grow up, get on with it. So, yeah. Oh, this is just some, hot wine, or whatever you call it. Yeah, so, yeah. Let's proceed on, shall we? Da 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 da! And by the way, this is like what I'm wearing right now is like a gift from my best friend, so yes, yes.
Alrighty then, so here I am a little while later, and in this video I am going to be showing you what's in bloom for December, specifically what's in bloom for the new year, which is a very exciting period, and I've noticed quite a few people have a very good display of their orchids, this time of the year, which is very exciting. Fortunately, this time around I have only tea, not wine, so maybe I'm gonna behave in a more tame way. But yeah, let's get ahead and I'm gonna show you exactly what is going on, which orchid this time around. So yeah, and by the way, here's my main display of orchids where they're growing. The weather is gloomy, so it's really hard to catch a good time to film videos, especially taking into account that my house is usually a clutter. But at least I have this fancy light to illuminate the display this time, so it's more or less more professional, and also my phone is allowing me to make higher quality videos, so yay for that. So, first off, let's take a look at the crowd favorite, the Phalaenopsis. This is my big ol' white no ID Phalaenopsis, and yeah, it has two spikes this time around, and these are actually old spikes which have already been cut, and it's extended its growth and created some more blooms. It's not a very impressive display. I expected it to have far more blooms and it would arch down and create these magnificent foxtails of white big blooms, but it wasn't able to push itself so far. As you can see, it has very few buds, and growth tips don't seem like they're going to push out anymore for now. But it's also very much understandable because of look at the state of being of the plant. Let's not spill the tea. It has an abundance of roots and the medium isn't bad, but you can easily see that something is quite not right. Look at this, for example. Now, I don't specifically know exactly what this nonsense is, but I can vouch that it's a virus. Orchid fleck virus to be specific, and this is the oldest, the second oldest Phalaenopsis in my collection, and we probably have it for well over 10 years. And yeah, it's always had this problem. It usually creates some new gorgeous leaves and they have a couple of strange yellow spots, but this time around it's being really severe, and it's definitely not a temperature problem. Look at the distortion of this leaf. It looks just horrendous. That's horrible. The base is where it continues to grow the leaf looks okay, but the tip is just some horrendous monstrosity. And you can probably also see that the situation on the spikes is similar. Look at this. Like, this is no healthy shower. Oh look, it's creating a new branch. Well, anyway, this orchid is going to be going out. It's going to finish blooming and it's going to be going out to the dismay of my family, but it has to be done. Yeah, I won't have this like perpetuate the disease in my collection, because this can easily spread through water and we don't need that. And this is a horrendously big orchid. Like, look, it's really big. So yeah, it's gonna be beneficial to get rid of it, but previously it has created astonishing displays. So yeah, here I want to show you the replacement I have for this orchid. This is my species, Phalaenopsis, which I recently ordered from Orchid Garden, and it's creating a lovely flower spike which already has some buds on it. This is a species known as Phalaenopsis amabilis, which is basically very similar to this one. Big white blooms, except this is a fancy hybrid and this is a species. And you can see the pristine state of its leaves. Like, there's a little bit of like some dust debris on it, but whoops, the leaves are pristine and lovely, you know? So your orchid should look like this, not like this. This is bad, this is good. So we already have a replacement for it and I'm excited for it coming. Now a sip of tea. Very holiday drink. Next. So, okay, this is my no ID pink Phalaenopsis. I suspect this might be a hybrid between Schilleriana and Ludemaniana, based on my research. You might recognize this orchid from like a previous video where I tried to breed it. It was not successful. But in any case, this spike is one of the previous spikes. I cut it and it made an extension, yes? But all the buds fell off and only this one was left because of spider mites, actually. My orchid collection still has like a random burst of spider mites here and there, so that's inconvenience, but I kind of like how this looks, just a single flower, I like that. But here you can see the main branch of the orchid, and this is a mess. This is a mess. But I like it, it's a big pink mess, so I'm alright with that. But you can see the blooms are already fading and it's not been in bloom for a very long time whatsoever. And this is also, you know why? Look at the leaves. Do you notice some similarities with the previous Phalaenopsis? Yeah, it's also diseased. And this is the oldest collection orchid in my collection. It's probably like 12 years or something. It's very gorgeous and it creates this monumentous stem, and it has already been cut. This has already been cut. It was like 3 times taller than this. This is like a bloody palm tree. And that would be one sight to see, you know, if this orchid could actually live on. Which I am not going to let it live on because, like, you can see the virus damage on the spike. Also, look at this. This does not look okay, Tommy. This is not okay, and the blooms are fading at a monumentous speed. So here's some, yeah, more damage. This will have to go, and I want to replace it with the species Schilleriana, which has basically the same type of blooms, except it's fragrant and has more fancier looking leaves. You can see some remnants of modeling in the leaves, but yeah, look, this just bad. This is sun damage, you know? See? This is a random like speck of distorted color. That's sun damage. But see, these yellow spots, they're like... focus, please. Like pits in the leaves. They're like somebody has just like... dug a pit in the leaf. You know, it's bad. This is a virus, I'm sure of it. Like, look at this. Like, this is not something you want to see in your collection. So yeah, I'm gonna put this orchid out of its struggle after it finishes blooming, and we're gonna be done with this phase in our life. But also, look, gorgeous roots, gorgeous plant, a big plant, floriferous. It's a shame, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So next plant. So here we have another fancy looking no identification Phalaenopsis. And this one has a very unique color indeed. I loved it because it is like, it has this rustic peachy pink. And look at the colors of the lip. Now that's a lip I admire. I really enjoy like orchids who have like that peach color. It's very unique, unusual and delicious. This is not exactly the most amazing Phalaenopsis I have seen ever, but it's a bit special for me. Because I purchased it right after I quit my work, and let's just say it was not the best workplace to be sitting in. And here's the plant itself. What is this? I do believe this is still the original pot of the plant. I have not replanted it, so you can see some of its roots are like bad, questionable. But it definitely has a nice root system and it has nice leaves, and overall the plant is gorgeous. Look at it. It's a really nice plant. I'm happy to have it in my collection. And it also kind of encompasses the traits of both the big white and the small bright pink orchid, which I showed you previously, so you could also say this is a type of replacement. So nothing more to say here, except that when I purchased it, its blooms were fading. And that was because it wasn't watered enough. After it got under my care, its blooms become more lively. The unopened small blooms, they were small originally, and they seem to have expanded after they got under my care. So happy orchid, showing signs of fading, but it's a good one. It's a good one to have. So next. So here we have arguably one of my most favorite Phalaenopsis. This is Phalaenopsis Haur Fancy, cultivar A06669. So yeah, this is a novelty hybrid. I googled its parentage. It has a lot of Amabilis and Ludemaniana in it. It's not fragrant, not that I detect it, but it has these utterly amazing burgundy colored flowers. It's really my theme orchid. Like it's just the best orchid. And you can see for a novelty Phalaenopsis, it has decently sized blooms. They are not small by any means. It has 2 blooms now, and this is the back side of the blooms, also very unique. It looks like, I don't know, like a red crocodile or something. I don't know. Maybe some people may interpret this as something a bit more like, you know, suspicious. But in any case, these blooms last for an utterly tremendous time. That's what really surprises me about this orchid. They can last like 3 months. And you can see this one is the younger bloom. It's a bit more red. But this makes a wonderful display. And this is a very young plant. You can see it has like some purple red tinges on its leaves, which I also find very pretty. But this is a nice young plant, a very small one. This is its first blooming and it's utterly impressive. So I'm very excited to see what it has in store for the future. But the fact that it creates these very bright, vivid colored blooms which last for months and months is the most impressive thing ever. And I just love the full combo of it. Like its texture, its thick, strong texture, its shape, its color, it's just this. Amazing. So yeah, next. So here next we have a rescue Phalaenopsis, and this is my yellow store-bought novelty hybrid, you could say. It is in the process of recovering. When I bought it, I failed to immediately repot it. So it lost almost all of its roots, and the leaves started, falling off, and it was not a beautiful sight. But this has the most beautiful colored, sweet lemon scented flowers I have ever seen. And it is able to create big flower spikes, and this is one of the prized orchids of my collection, so that's why I'm holding on to it. But you can see this is the newest leaf, and it is making a very good recovery, and it is currently creating a little cute flower spike with 2 buds, maybe more to follow. It also has a older flower spike still on, which I am hoping might still bloom for the future. This orchid is potted in a little bit of a too big of a pot, and it's having some algae problems already, but so far so good. It's not like worth reporting yet, but I think it's happy. I think it's happy, so yeah. Sip my tea and move on to the next plant, shall we? We're done with Phalaenopsis. Finally, let's have something a bit more interesting. And look at this gorgeousness. This is I have not identified this orchid yet, but it should not be hard. It looks like something easily recognizable. It's an Oncidium intergeneric hybrid, and look, I have some pollen on my finger. Oh, funny. Yeah, but this is a wonderful orchid. It's mildly scented. Yeah, it doesn't smell right now in the, gloomy weather, but it did have some slight scent. It was slightly floral, and it is currently reblooming for the first time under my care. I purchased it with this big growth, and it had a spike, and it has created this next growth which produced this lovely flower spike. The bad thing about this, it's still in its original pot with some moss and cocoa peat and fiber or something, and you can see the roots aren't the happiest, so when it's gonna be done blooming and about to create its next growth, I am going to be attending to its reporting. But in any case, you can see this is a gorgeous big plant. It looks very promising, and I really hope to grow this to a very big bushy size with a lot of red, beautiful colored blooms. And this truly looks like some kind of a gemstone, some delight. It's like a sunset or something. It's beautiful. Look what we have here, another Oncidium type. I think many of you should have an easy time recognizing what this is because it's very famous. It's the Oncidium Twinkle, and this is my most recent acquisition. I got it like 1.5 weeks ago at a random encounter of a simple flower store, and I have never seen this breed of orchids in Latvia before, and I'm very pleased. You can see it has an utter abundance of spikes, but most of the blooms have already dropped. Although you can see it has more buds coming. But the most fascinating thing about this orchid is that I didn't even suspect its blooms would be so small. Look at the size of these blooms. They're so incrementally tiny, and the plant is tiny. It needs to get reported, and it's still in its original fugly pot. With some dead blooms at the bottom, of course. But yeah, I'm really well pleased to this. This can grow to a big size very quickly, and the most amazing thing about it is its fragrance, and it's something to be admired. Now let me take a whiff. It smells to me it smells like gingerbread. Yeah, it has a chocolate, orange, cinnamony fragrance, and it's like gingerbread. It's like sweet gingerbread. It's really utterly delicious. If you made cookies which smelled like this, let me tell you, you would be famous. So yeah, and I desperately wanted this Oncidium Twinkle. because they come in very wide range of colors, and this is the cinnamon Twinkle, I do believe, and it has this rustic red color, and I wanted this the most, so finally I got it. What a wonderful turn of events. So here we have another monstrous example of an orchid. This is my no ID Dendrobium nobile type. It probably has like a name. I will put it up on the screen with pictures of the previous blooms, but I don't remember how it was called from the top of my mind. But why I'm showing it to you is because look, it has some flowers coming on, and this is the very last day of 2019, so it's already creating some blooms. Not in a very good count, unfortunately. Like this is like more or less the extent of it, but you know, I'll take what I can get. It already is great, working on some new growths, which is really nice. And yeah, you can see these canes with a small amount of leaves. These are the older ones. Now these ones are the new ones which are created this year, and you can see all of them have some distortion on the top of the cane. What this is that they were not able to finish growing because of the lack of water, because I was watering irresponsibly. Just because like your orchids are surviving under your conditions doesn't mean they couldn't be doing better, and watering is key. So these next set of growths I really want to be, you know, more attentive to and grow it to a larger size, because this is one of those rare dendrobiums which actually is able to stand more or less upright, because many of them just flop over, and this can create a cloud of wonderful purple colored blooms. So why not strive to achieve that a little more? But it has potential. So this is my new Cymbidium orchid. I purchased it around the beginning of December, I believe, and you can see it's already beginning to lose its blooms. It's at the end of its blooming, but it held on for, you know, decent time, and it has such a wonderful spring atmosphere about it. Look at these amazing yellow blooms. They look like what they're called narcissus. And I think the camera is picking up the color a little too vividly. It's more like creamy yellow, I would say. Maybe I can attune the contrast a little bit. But really, this is such a wonderful like spring vibe that I gave to myself as a gift. And the wonderful thing about it is that it also has a very wonderful floral fragrance, and it really does smell like narcissus. It smells like spring flowers, and it's really delicious. And what I really love about this plant is its size. Now you can see it's a very big orchid, but it's a young Cymbidium. You know, many times when you are in the store, you see these Cymbidiums packed full in the pot with very many growths, and the pot is pot bound. Now you can see I can squeeze the pot of this orchid. That means the roots are still not overgrown it, which is a very good thing, because in my experience, pot bound orchids, meaning the roots have fully taken over the pot, are very tedious to repot. And my Phalaenopsis amabilis had the same situation. I cut off many of its roots because first they were coming out the pot, and second, there is not enough space for them to breathe. And I think it's not okay if the orchid is jam-packed with roots, because they kind of suffocate each other. They hold on to water too much because they're too close together, and they need some breathing space, you know. So when I'm going to eventually be reporting this orchid, it's going to be easy, because first first off, it's going to be able to come out of its pot without me needing to like pry it open, and second off, it has higher chances of survival. But I'm not very experienced with Cymbidiums, but what I know about them is that they are very hardy orchids which are worth having and create gorgeous displays on our huge, and I love huge things. And here you can see it also has a new growth, which is lovely. So yeah, I think, what is this? My hibiscus is creating a bloom. Lol. That's funny. But yeah, that's more or less what I wanted to show you this time around, and sorry for me perpetually falling off the planet. I got that angsty teen energy or something. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. Subscribe and like if you want more. So see you next time. Bye. Have a happy new year. May the 2020 year be of a, you know, new starting point, creating a new life and being more persistent with your desires, and let's hold on to our new real year's resolution of being more active and responsible and stuff like that, and yeah, on with it. So bye, cheers.